that's kind of where that picked up.
Yeah.
It'll come to me in a minute here. I hate not being able to remember, but yeah, there was a 4 boomerang version that top 8'd in Kansas City, and that's basically where that originated. He was like number 1 coming into the elimination rounds. Did not win the tournament, but we're gonna start here with Mr. Duke. He's playing a blue-white Tron deck, it looks like here, with the Unburial Rights package against Josh Netto, Splinter Twins. So obviously Reid coming in with the 3 buys. He's gonna start with the Sea Chrome Coast into Urza's Mine. Netto is going to search out an island. Looks like he's going to sack that other fetch land, going to go get a Steam Vents on the instep, and we're going to be underway here in our second match.
Yeah, Blue-White Tron, really a deck that didn't show up at the PT. This is, as opposed to like the make Karn as fast as possible deck, this deck doesn't even play Karn. Instead, it's just using a lot of mana to cast a Sphinx's Revelation, to cast a large Condescend, to cast Gifts Ungiven or Batter Skull.
And there was a time where Blue-White Tron was the best Tron deck. And you could argue that we might be back in that time right now because Green-Red Tron is not all that well positioned right now as Duke is going to play in Urza's Tower, so 2 of the 3 pieces of the Urza Tron.
It's more or less just a blue-white control deck that has a lot of mana to like hit with Colonnades earlier, right?
Let's see if Duke can complete the Tron here. Now this is, the thing about the blue Tron decks, you can be blue-white, blue-red, blue whatever. You have these counterspells in Remand and Condescend, and sometimes they have Spell Burst, but, you have to play this little game of, you need some blue mana to be able to cast these counterspells and then do other things as well.
Right.
But when you're playing against Twin, it's very dangerous territory because I know, and I know you do as well because you play a healthy amount of Modern, playing against a Twin deck that has 3 mana available is scary stuff.
Yes, you'd expect some sort of Exarch or Pestermite, and then that, which we do see on end step. Especially when you only have 1 blue mana source, that's not very fun.
Yeah, and this could just be an innocent of, I'm just playing Pestermite, man. What are you freaking out about?
Right. The question is, so if you're Reid and you have 1 path to exile in your hand, it's like you have to path it right now, right?
You see, Condescend's going to take care of that Pestermite. Well, there's more where that came from. They play 8 of that effect and 4 Deceiver, Exarch, and 4 Pestermite. You see Condescend the scrying there from Reid. Netto gets to kind of do his thing now on this turn, see what he wants to resolve, if anything.
Yeah.
He's just simply going to play an island past the turn back.
Yeah, it looks at Netto's hand. He's missing some pieces. He has a pair of Exarchs. He has a Swan Song as well. He doesn't actually have the red piece to the puzzle yet.
Duke is going to play a Talisman of Progress. Whew, that was close.
Which one it is?
I was a little bit scared. Yeah, it's Talisman of Progress. Normally I think of Dominance because I see that in Legacy sometimes in the Tezzeret
That's
decks.
blue-black.
Yes.
Right.
Now don't ask me what the red-green one is because I don't know.
Oh man. I should know.
Stumped you. Of course, who plays Talisman of red-green?
Oh, red-green, you love to ramp in red-green.
Not with that card, your ramp is better. As you see, a Remand is going to bounce the Deceiver Exarch.
Yeah, Reid just keeping the board clean right now, and
Vendilion.
Yeah, Vendilion. This is, I'm probably out of the board. Or is it
one of in the main deck? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what Duke wants to do to stop this. He's going to show the hand right now. Here we go. We got a boy. Okay. These are cards. Some of these cards I was not expecting to see. You've got a Path to Exile, Spellskite, a Gifts Ungiven, a Ghostly Prison, an Urza's Power Plant, an Expedition Map, and a Celestial Purge.
Yeah, now if he doesn't take the Gifts Ungiven here, Reid can set up that, I'm assuming, Unburial Rights into Iona package or into Elishnorn.
Yeah.
Right. Also, though, of note, Ghostly Prison is very good against Netto's deck.
Yep.
It's hard to attack with infinite anythings when there's a Ghostly Prison out.
Netto's got a real decision to make now on what card to take because there's a lot of different avenues this game can go in. First of all, let's talk about the fact that Duke can complete Tron because he has Power Plant in his hand. So that's step 1 of things that he can do. He'll draw a mystery card here off a click, putting Purge to the bottom, but he can play a Prison, which is hard to beat. He can play a map. He's got a lot of things he can do.
Yeah, if he has the full Tron, that's pretty scary for Netto.
And there is the Tron. So that Power Plant's going to tap for 2. There's your Ghostly Prison. Duke, because he has 2 mines, the Tower and the Talisman, has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana available now.
Yeah, so he's going to go ahead. He's going to have to Swan Song the Ghostly Prison, which that would be pretty scary if it wasn't true. Like if Josh had one of the combo pieces out, but because he doesn't have any of his combo pieces out, Reid's got to be pretty happy with this.
And Reid now, he gets to deploy a bunch of his hand. He's going to play a Spellskite and a map, as there you do see Swan Song. Great counterspell for a Twin deck, both for and against it.
Yeah, we see a Teferi drawn for Netto, but there's an end step Gifts Ungiven in the waiting in the wings here, so he's just gonna have to pass the turn.
We'll see if Reid actually wants to cast this, because he will be casting in the counterspell, and given the contents of Reid's hand when we saw them, that Gifts is really all he's got right now.
Yeah, the question is if Netto will ever take down the counter magic, but we'll find out. Reid can apply some pressure here. Expedition map similarly can find Celestial Colonnade. It doesn't have to though. Reid drew one.
I'm assuming there's probably an Eye of Ugin in Reid's deck. Ooh, does he not have an eye?
There's no eye.
Wow.
No, just finds colonnades and activates them.
Okay. Normally you see an Eye of Ugin to be able to search for an Emrakul, but Duke is not using that this particular weekend.
No need, I guess.
Well, I trusted the Duke.
No, I believe it too, actually. It's just a control deck.
It's just a big mana control deck.
I would assume the Emrakul is there for things like the blue-white-red control matchup.
Sure, when things go super long.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to be more late game than Emrakul.
I really think Tron is an interesting choice for this weekend, be it green, red, be it blue, white, whatever, because I think cards like Sowing Salt are at an all-time low, and I personally believe that Tron decks don't really have a lot of trouble with Blood Moon if they are built appropriately and the players have experience playing against it.
Right.
You see, Duke is going to play a Hollow Fountain and pass the turn back here, so he still has that Gifts Ungiven. His Netto is going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn and search for a Steam Vents that'll come into play tapped.
So he now has triple red for a possible Kiki-Jiki. And that, I believe, is a card that I don't think Reid has an answer to if he gets the Kiki twin lock. I don't see in Reid's hand that he can deal with that.
Now here's the Serum Visions. And explain for the people at home how Kiki-Jiki kind of trumps Spellskite.
Well, Kiki-Jiki can only target a creature you control, so Spellskite can't make Kiki-Jiki target Spellskite. It's, if you have the whole combo on your side, that'll just work. We saw that on that turn, Netto drew a Splinter Twin. That's the path of the combo that Spellskite's excellent against. You can't enchant your own creature if there's a Spellskite. It'll just steal the aura.
And don't forget as well, one of the things that you can do, Spellskite will actually break it up if it's Kiki-Jiki plus Pestermite. But if it's Kiki-Jiki plus Deceiver Exarch...
So there's a slight difference.
Yeah.
Pestermite is tap or untap target permanent. So any target permanent that can switch that target to Spellskite. But Exarch has untap permanent you control.
Correct.
So Spellskite can't steal that ability.
So in comes the old Colonnade, getting a little aggressive here. As Duke's going to play another tower and pass the turn back. Does have, I guess, plenty of blue mana, we can say, with the Talisman and the Colonnade having Vigilance, as Netto's going to play a Arid Mesa and just pass the turn back.
Yeah, he's gonna need an answer for this Spellskite. I'm wondering at what point we see all these Exarchs come down out of Netto's hand, though. He's got to play for his possible top decks, I would think.
Duke opts not to activate the Colonnade, maybe sensing a little bit of strength on Netto's side, as Netto's going to very quickly sacrifice that Arid Mesa, search for a basic mountain, and we'll see what his play is going to be this turn if he has one.
Yeah, Reid can either choose to win quickly with Colonnade, or he can choose to just try to establish a really good control lock, which I think we just saw him switch game plans here.
There's a Sulphur Falls there from Netto. Any plays to be had here, he's just going to pass the turn back. So Duke is going to, on the end of turn, cast Gifts Ungiven.
Yeah, and Josh can remand this all he likes. It's not going to do too much. Reid has a lot of mana.
And it looks like he's going to go for it
cast it again.
That's the power of Tron.
He can remand it again, too.
And he's going to.
So let's see. Reid can cast it a third time. He'll go ahead and cast it a third time.
Might as well.
He insists. Gifts Ungiven.
All right, so here we go. Now we're going to see what Duke is going to search for, because it's very easy to search for Barrel Rights plus X, but he might have another plan in mind.
Yeah, so Gifts Ungiven, if you haven't seen this before, this is a rules interaction which isn't readily apparent on the card. You can only find 2 cards. You can say, I couldn't find 4 cards with different names. I only found these 2. Because it's just cards, maybe it's possible that that's actually true with your deck. So if you only find 2, then they choose 2 of the 2 you found to go to the graveyard.
Yep.
So you can use it as a way to entomb 2 cards.
And this is one of the faster gifts I've seen, as Reid is going to get a Gifts Ungiven, an Emrakul, a Thirst for Knowledge, and a Negate. And I say that's fast because when you're looking through your deck and you get to search for 4 cards, it could take a little while. I've been known to.
Yeah, Gifts Ungiven was a powerhouse in Kamigawa block constructed. It's actually a pretty decent card. And see Reid not using it in the Reanimator strategy. He's just straight up using Gifts Ungiven here to basically draw cards. he either gets to have, he's going to get like 3 or 4 cards no matter what Netto picks.
And so you see that Netto says, all right, well, Emrakul's got to go to the graveyard because you can cast that next turn. If you cast that, I'm dead. So that's not going to happen.
Well, interestingly enough, Reid has a colorless mana floating. He can go ahead and cast that other Gifts Ungiven as well.
Yeah.
Now, Emrakul can't actually go to the graveyard.
Yeah, so he's going to have to shuffle back in the graveyard. There he goes.
But if we're still on Netto's end step, and I believe we are, Reid can cast that next Gifts and just keep going.
Yeah, he's value gifting him into the ground right now.
Yes.
Which is, gifting for gifts. And basically what he's doing, and you see him tapping mana right now, as you mentioned, and we're going to see another copies of gifts, or we're going to see Thirst for Knowledge just go around.
Sure.
But what he's doing is basically saying, I'm always going to get the gifts because the other 2 cards are a nightmare for you.
Exactly, and he's discarding extra lands, and I think he's just building his way to finding Emrakul.
Yep. So Reid does discard 2 copies of Versus Power Plant. Looks like he's going to tap his mana on his main phase here. Let's see what he's going to do this go around. Maybe another copy of Thirst for Knowledge.
Sure, so a lot of card draw. I think what this tells me is that Reid prefers Thirst for Knowledge to Gifts Ungiven. It's the stronger card drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been having the options to do both, and he's elected to Thirst for Knowledge both times.
So let's see what he's going to discard. A Ghostly Prison and a Seacrum Coast. Basically saying, all right, I don't need Prison to beat you now. I got Spellskite. That's probably going to give me enough defense.
He's probably doing that because I don't think Gifts Ungiven can draw him Emrakul. You know, Josh will never give him the Emrakul.
Yeah. Serum Visions. There's a Kiki-Jiki.
Yep, so keep that on top, absolutely.
Looks like he's happy with both cards that were on top.
There is 1 Condescend. As far as counter magic, there's 1 Condescend in Reid's deck, and that's it. It's possible, remember, he used it, but he can find it again.
You see Reid is going to go a searching here yet again. Negate Condescend.
Yeah, he could have boarded in, Negate Condescend. He has Celestial Purge in his board. He has Pact of Negation. He has Torpor Orb. There are a lot of things he can find here that hate out the combo.
Don't forget, too, the fact that he searched out Emrakul as well, and he's going to search it out again. So you see Negate, Thirst, Condescend, and Emrakul. Part of the reason that I think he searched Emrakul last time is fully knowing he's not going to get it, but it shuffles those cards back into his deck.
Right,
and give him access for gifts.
Now he's getting a counterspell because Josh can't actually give him the Emrakul.
Yep.
So he's going to have to give Reid either the Negate or the Condescend, and that should put a stop to Josh's plan.
Yeah. So we'll see how Josh wants to split this. One of the things that we talk about in this forum, we talk about the Nikado decks and everything else that you can do is going to actually give him Emrakul.
He gives him Emrakul. Well, okay.
So basically what he's saying is, okay, I can tap your stuff down and not care.
I don't think that's going to work.
Well, we'll see if it's going to work or not.
Well, I think you care.
It's a little bit risky, as here's a Thirst for Knowledge. But what I was going to say is, we talk about all these things with, you got to play around Blood Moon and Pods and all these other decks you have to play around. I wonder how much experience people actually have splitting Gifts Ungiven piles.
Sure.
It's been a while, and that's a real skill.
Yeah, like Fact or Fiction, it's not trivial to split Gifts Ungiven piles.
Yeah. You see an island there from Duke. And here's a bunch of mana. I wonder what this could be for.
Yeah, that looks like it's Emrakul mana. It is going to be him.
And Duke will put the trigger on the stack here to say, I'm going to take another turn. He'll untap all of those permanents.
This Netto asked for this.
He did. He could have not had this happen.
He doesn't have... Okay, so when we go to attacks, he's going to stop the Annihilator from happening by tapping Emrakul.
Well, that's his plan, at least.
Yeah, I think he has a backup Exarch, too. So maybe... The problem is that they're just going to tap Spellskite.
Yeah. Reid's gonna bounce that over that way.
Yeah, and this is like, I don't know if Netto can survive getting annihilated.
Yeah, especially because with him at 12 life, I almost certainly don't think he can.
Well, I don't know how it's not tapped, but
yeah, the Spellskite will be tapped. That will happen momentarily.
Yeah.
He's gonna redirect that over there. Yep.
Sure, so they both go to Spellskite, and now Reid's going to get to attack, and he annihilates for 6. Netto can't keep enough alive to Kiki-Jiki here. -6 permanents, he only will have 4 left. That's a ways off. It's an Exarch and 3 lands. That's... If it was Annihilator 5, he would have a shot here, but it's Annihilator 6.
Yeah, assuming Netto's life total is correct, I mean, it's not something to ignore the fact that Emrakul attacks for 15 and not 12.
Too.
So.
I don't think he doesn't have a way to get around it, right?
Yeah, so I think with, and of course we'll make sure our life totals are correct for you guys at home as well. But yeah,
Yeah, oh, that's flying.
Yeah.
I just
Okay,
say,
yeah.
okay, he didn't think it flew.
Gotcha, and that's going to do it. So Reid Duke is going to win this match over Josh Netto, 2-0, Blue-White Tron, taking down Splinter Twin. Blue-White Tron, not a deck I think people expecting coming into this tournament.
Certainly not. It's a pretty bold choice for the tournament too, because it's not really, I guess, a control deck.